So Jesus said, whatever you pray and ask for in my name, believe that you have received it and it will be done for you. But what does it look like to believe that you have received what you are praying for? What does that look like in practical terms? And I find a lot of the times when there's something in our life that we're believing for God to do, there are usually practical things that we can do to position ourselves by faith to show that we actually do believe we're going to receive what we're praying for. Because sometimes, unfortunately, we can be praying for something and we really want something to happen, but in our hearts we don't actually believe that it's going to happen. And the evidence is we're not actually living in a way we're expecting for it to happen. And a really simple example of this is when I go fishing. I love going fishing, but a lot of the times when I, want to go out for a quick fish, I find that I'll prepare my fishing gear, my rods, what I'm going to use as bait. If I'm going to take my kayak, I'll prepare my kayak. But I won't really prepare so much for where I'm going to store the fish after I catch it and how am I going to keep it fresh until I get home. and I find it funny because I'm believing, yes, I want to try and catch a fish, and a lot of the times I'll believe God, and I'll pray like, oh, please help me catch some decent fish so I can take it home for dinner, right? But it's funny because I reflect on it afterwards. We actually went on holidays recently. We went for a hike through the bush to a river, and I took my rod and some lures and I was going to try catch some fish so we could take it home for dinner. But I realized halfway through the hike that I didn't have anything to put the fish in afterwards. Like, how was I going to keep the fish fresh, or where was I going to put it to carry it back to where we were staying? I didn't have anything with me, and it not convicted me, but it showed me like what a lack of faith. Like, I'm hoping and I'm believing that I'm going to catch some decent fish to take home for dinner, but I don't even have anything to take the fish home with me. Like, it occurred to me halfway through the hike, and I was like, great, I'm gonna have to like wrap it in a leaf or something to try and keep it clean in my bag when we walk back home. But it showed even though I really wanted something, it showed that I wasn't expecting that it was gonna happen. Otherwise I would have prepared. I would have like packed a plastic bag or something to put the fish inside that I'm gonna take home after I catch it, but I didn't have anything. And I find a lot of the times we can be doing the same thing. We can be praying or believing for something, but we're not actually making room for it in our life as if it's gonna really happen. And it's funny because I've had 2 times in my life where I've been believing that God was gonna do something, but and God spoke to me on both those occasions, and challenged me that, and his exact words were, if you believe so and so is going to happen, then why aren't you XYZ? I won't go into details because some of them are private. Well, I can tell you one of the stories. I've actually made a YouTube video about it. It's one of my earlier YouTube videos. It was the time when I sold my car because I felt led by God to sell my car, and then I came across a competition to win a Vespa. If you don't know what a Vespa is, it's one of those little motorbike scooter things. And as soon as I saw that competition, I instantly believed, and I felt like God wanted me to win that competition so I could have that Vespa. And it made so much sense because I just sold my car and I was like, great, I'm gonna have this Vespa to get around. And I believed it, but halfway through that competition, halfway through the waiting period for that competition to be drawn, I was at a motorbike shop one time and I heard God say to me, if you believe you're going to win the Vespa, then why don't you buy a helmet? And I literally felt challenged because I was telling everyone, I was fully convinced that God was going to give me this Vespa through this competition. And God challenged me and it's like, okay, cool, if you believe that, then why don't you buy the helmet? And I felt crazy at the time, and I didn't have that much money back then. This was quite a few years ago. And it was, it was a bit of a it was a bit of a cost for me to just buy a motorbike helmet when I didn't even have one, and I was believing that I was going to win one. But sure enough, I bought it. It felt right. Even though I felt crazy, it felt right. And yeah, sure enough, I won that competition and I won that, $7,000 Vespa. Well, that's what it cost back then. This is like going 10 years ago now, probably. And so, more than 10 years ago, actually. But yeah, you can go back and watch that video for the full story on that. But point being, whatever it is you're believing for, it could be a relationship restoration, it could be some sort of financial breakthrough, it could be whatever, job you want to be doing, or whatever your purpose and calling is. It could be help to a certain, you know, situation, or other people that you're praying for. Could be healing for someone, or someone to receive salvation and believe in God. You know, whatever it is, like, just think to yourself, what are practical things you can do to show that you believe that you're going to receive what you're praying for? Because a lot of the times, unfortunately, we can pray from a place of unexpectancy. We can pray from a place of like desperation and like, I don't think this is going to happen, but God, please do something. And look, I'm not saying that God doesn't sometimes answer those prayers too. He does, but you know, just like Jesus, remember how impressed Jesus was with that centurion when he came to ask Jesus to heal his daughter. And he said, no, he goes, you don't even have to enter my house. I know, just give the word and my daughter will be healed. And Jesus was so impressed with his faith that centurion came with full expectancy that if Jesus just prays for this my daughter, or my servant's daughter, whoever, I can't remember exactly who it was in the story now, that she will be made well. He had full expectancy, and Jesus was so pleased with him. And I believe God is so pleased with us as well when we fully believe we're going to receive what we're praying for, and make sure whatever it looks like, you're making room for it in your life, and you're living in a way that expects that it's going to happen. Just like when I went fishing and I didn't take anything to actually carry the fish home with. Don't do that. Be prepared to receive whatever you're believing for, and it will be yours, Jesus said. That's why in the book of Hebrews it says, without faith it is impossible to please God. So, and that's why Jesus was so pleased with that centurion, because he was full of faith. He didn't come to Jesus begging, oh please, you know, like begging and like not sure if his daughter. Remember when Jesus got to Lazarus' tomb and his sisters were like, oh, crying, and if you are only here, Jesus, you know, like, obviously he still performed the miracle that day, he did. And I'm not saying to not call out to God if you're desperate. Of course, call out to him. But I just believe something spiritual happens. Something changes in the spirit, in the spiritual dynamics, when you actually believe that you're going to receive what you're praying for, as opposed to just praying out of a hopeless desperation. When you're convinced and you believe that, you know, and you're living in a way that's waiting to see it manifest, I believe something powerful happens, and it pleases God. You're showing that you really do believe, that you believe in his goodness, in his mercy, and that he answers your prayers according to his will. So yeah, God bless all of you, and I'll see you on the next one.